Okay. We are live. I'm just gonna make sure volumes are good to go. Looks like everything is working absolutely fine. Checking my mic if it's working. iPhone mic seems to be on. Alright, everything looks good. Hello. I hope all of you are doing well. This episode marks 2 months of me doing this constantly and consistently, and I am very excited about it. I really hope my mic isn't picking up noise because there is weirdly a lot of noise around me today. Maybe I'm just being sensitive and really particular about it, but that is how it feels. I have started this late, so I'm gonna wait for just a little while, maybe just 10 seconds, let a couple of people join. A few people have messaged me that they would really like to attend my next session, so I'm gonna give them some time to join us, and then I will start. I don't think it'll take more than 15 seconds, 20 seconds maybe. But I think today, more than any other day, I should really be waiting for my friends. Okay, I think I'm gonna start doing the intro because that'll give them a little extra time, and at least I won't keep you waiting for too long. Hello. Oh, this haircut just still does whatever it wants. I do my hair and like everything else before getting on, and then I get on and it still looks funny. Anyway, I actually sat and watched some of my previous videos, and I kind of realized that I move a lot while I'm talking, including like my hands and gestures and things like that, and I don't want to. I don't know if it's good. Like, does it help attention span? Does it not? I have no clue. But today I'm going to try and be a little more controlled because I want to get through this quickly. I really don't want these episodes to be going on for an hour and a half. Even if people are enjoying the length of the episode, it is so tiring for me. I really appreciate everyone who's joined us. I really appreciate people who have actually reached out to me and spoken to me about what they think about these episodes and the podcasts, and I think that's fantastic. It's crazy. Thank you so much. Today we're talking about something that I am currently genuinely struggling with, and I think that's just what this decade of my life is going to look like. So it's going to involve a lot of acceptance for me as well. I really just want to make sure all the volume and everything is fine, because if this music is too loud, I'm not going to be happy with it when it's done. Felt cute, might delete later. Okay, I think we're good. I think we're good. I'm gonna keep it at the level it was the last time. And yeah, let's kick off, guys. So today I am going to talk about why we suck at friendships. It is mostly me talking about why I suck at friendships. But I think as we get older, we just get worse and worse at making friends. And I've been trying to figure out not really why. It's a little bit obvious why. Like, our surroundings have changed, the way we behave has changed, we've become a lot more settled as individuals. So we have our own very specific principles now. We don't quite look at getting along with people. You're not thinking anymore, do they like me? You start thinking more, do I even like them? And sometimes, more often than not, for me, the answer is no. But over and above that, as an adult, unless you are just programmed a certain way, we probably suck at making friends and keeping friends. And keeping in touch with friends, and in general just being a friend to someone. Not all the time for sure, but on and off you'll find you really have to apologize for certain things. You have to apologize for being shitty sometimes to people. You have to apologize for not being there for them. You have to apologize for not being around enough, and so on. And it just kind of got me wondering, like, where did our knack for friendship go? Did we even have a knack for friendship? Is that something that could have gone away? Where is that desire within us to get to know people? I meet new people all the time, and I leave the conversation, even if it's like a long conversation, I leave the conversation and realize that they didn't ask me a single question about me. And then when I tried to ask them a question about them, they just kept changing the subject, and they didn't want to really talk about themselves. They just wanted to talk about, I don't know, other random shit. And then I don't feel like the conversation is valuable. Or sometimes I feel like the conversation is really, really valuable, and then I feel like, oh my god, that was a great conversation. I would really love to get to know this person better, and I wish I had asked them more questions, or I wish they had answered my questions. I also feel like to some extent we've just gotten jaded with things really, really fast. Like, if we feel like we didn't make a connection, bam, instantly, we just think that person is not worth making friends with. Statistics honestly don't help us in this case either. If you go above the age of like 25, 28, studies show that with every decade, there is a certain percentage of less people you meet, less people you talk to, less friends you have. COVID kind of fucked that for us, right? Like, it completely ruined it for us. I have to stop cursing on this, but I keep remembering that my parents watch sometimes. I really don't know how to care about that. Like, that's really something I don't think about, and I don't care about. Maybe I should. But if you're watching, please, I'm sorry I curse, okay? It just happens. But yeah, studies show that with every decade, you meet less people. Your friend circles get much, much smaller. You meet less and less of them. You meet less and less of your family as well. You spend less time with them even when you do meet them. And in total, that entire like social life kind of shrinks. And I don't really want to compare this to what life was like in school and college, because school and college was like you were forced into that educational institution. We were all forced to go to school and go to college, and we all made some great friends and great connections, but it was because we were put together and we were miserable together. At least I was and my friends were, and we got along because of that. We also played a lot of sport. Then we also learned like 8 subjects, so you always had like a study partner, an exam partner, or something like that. You had like assignment groups and stuff, and you got forced to get to know each other and how people operate and how to deal with pressure situations with other people. And adult life allows you to some extent to actually deal with pressure situations on your own. So you're not forced to do it with somebody else except for your colleagues. And I don't know about you, I have some great friendships through people I have worked with, but it's very few and far between. I don't always get along with everyone at work, and for some reason, if you work with someone, there's always some amount of separation. There are always a few degrees of detachment between you and them, because it's at the end of the day, it's a professional relationship. But to my friends who I have met at work and have taken friendship beyond that with me and really made an effort, man, I learn so much from you guys. I have learned so much from you guys, and today it's almost like an homage to everyone who's really just befriended me and been the good friend at times that I have not. So today I kind of want to verbally learn through it. Like, I want to go through the thought process with you guys just out loud. And what I've done today is very different from what I normally do. I just have bullet points on my screen. The 4 things I really want to look at today are this adult friendship crisis that we have, and a couple of thoughts I have around that. Emotional unavailability and flaky culture, and how like being chill, oh my god, so cool. I don't agree with that, by the way. The third thing is we have no hobbies, man. Okay, I do. I'm crazy, that's why. But I've noticed a lot of people don't have social interest type hobbies. Their hobbies are only to do with them. Their hobbies are kind of solo, and that's absolutely fine. That's beautiful. Like, I love my alone time. I'm way more introverted than I am social. And I really enjoy being on my own and doing stuff like this, like sitting and scripting and writing and finding creative outlets for me. But I have also found that there is some amount of social interaction around a hobby or an activity or an interest that I need. And it's nice to have those things scheduled sometimes, so we'll go into that. And the last thing is setting boundaries in friendships, platonic relationships, new people that you're meeting, and what that looks like. And I think for today's episode, the one thing I'm going to start off by saying very honestly is that I could be very wrong about all this. And if I am wrong, I would really appreciate that you give me another point of view or another perspective, because I want to learn through this entire crisis. I want to build something new from this that I can't obviously do alone. You can't get better at being a friend alone. I don't think that's how this works. Again, I could be wrong, so if it works like that, please tell me that it works like that, and that would be great. But yeah, let's get straight into it. I can see I have a friend in the chat. Aman, thank you so much for joining this live. I really appreciate it, even though I started late. But I'm hoping that we get done very quickly and you can all get back to your daily lives and your dinner and your movies at night. But I appreciate you being here. So the first point, right, is this adult friendship crisis. Now, I said I don't want to talk about school and college because we were kind of forced into those situations. But as kids, even outside school and college, even when we did have choice for who we could meet and who we wanted to meet and who we would hang out with and things like that, our friendships were built around play activities. They were built around school projects. They were built around time that we shared with these friends and people. And as adults, they're no longer based on doing things together with other people. They're no longer based on going to enjoy someone's company or enjoy someone's time or enjoy an activity with somebody. It's all based on whether we're available for it or not. It's based on shared trauma. Like, people are going through the same shit at work, people are going through the same shit in their lives, people are going through the same difficult experiences, and you only connect with other people because you're trying to navigate those experiences and you want their help. They're not there just as a friend, they're not there to share positive experiences with you. They're mainly there to share negative experiences. And I don't think that's wrong at all. There is, of course, a little too much of it sometimes. I don't think it's wrong. I just think it's what it's become factually, like it is what it is. And if it's not availability or trauma, it's like burnout, or to put it better, convenience. Like, if this is convenient for me, if this friend is convenient for me to go meet or to go talk to, then I'll do it. But otherwise, I'm so tired and I'm so burnt out that I just can't. Or the opposite. Like, I'm so tired and I'm so burnt out from work, the only reason I will actually go meet my friends is to bitch about how burnt out I am and how shitty Monday is and how bad the week was and how tired I am. And then you go out and, like, I don't know, eat, drink, get wasted, do all kinds of things. It's not really meaningful, and that depth of connection is really lost. Also, because you're not exploring anything positive with these people, you're literally just trying to survive. Everyone's just trying to survive, not thrive. You're not improving, you're not growing, you're not getting any better in that group or with your friends anymore. You're just trying to get through something shit. And I think what ends up happening, because this gets repeated over and over again, we do it to other people do it to us. We no longer prioritize friendships. They're suddenly, I wouldn't say optional, but they're not as vital as they were before. I think as people, we also change, and we don't feel about our friends the way that we used to. We kind of treat friendships almost now like luxury items, or like a special pair of shoes in a cupboard. If I have time, if it's the right occasion, if I really, really want to, I'll maintain them. But otherwise, they're just packed up and kept very carefully somewhere in your heart. But they're packed up and put away, and whether you like it or not, especially if you live in a city like Mumbai and the humidity is ridiculous, it will ruin your stuff. Your stuff will get ruined. It will get eroded over time. You will forget about it. People may forget about you, and it doesn't feel great when you do decide to come around. I have had that with a lot of friendships where things just got stale. I would keep trying to connect with someone, but I was that like object on the shelf, and it didn't feel good. And then when I cut off from them, it came to them as such a huge shock, because I stopped reaching out, and then they were like, oh my god, what happened? By then, for me, it was too late. I really didn't have the capacity to go back to it and not be sure whether, it would work out, or it would be as meaningful as it used to be, or I just made new friends and this friend just wasn't as important to me anymore because I learned how to live without them. Which sucks. Like, even though it was my choice, it feels kind of shit to leave something behind. So yeah, I feel like the other thing I also learned from that experience was maybe we just both didn't want to do the heavy lifting of being friends as adults anymore. It is effort. Like relationships, any kind of relationship when you're an adult is fucking effort. Like emotional labor feels so much harder when you're an adult because you're so depleted in general by work and like daily life sometimes. So some people just don't bother anymore. Like they think that just existing is enough. And even if they do bother, I feel like most of them are just a little bit too drained. Hey, I got a #1 subscriber. Hello, Radioactive. Nice to see you. Thank you for joining. Not to interrupt the flow, but today we're talking about friendships and how I'm so bad at them. But thank you. Thanks for the sub. I really appreciate it. But yeah, a lot of people don't want to do a lot of the emotional labor in friendships. Friendships feel harder to maintain when you're an adult. Everything feels harder to maintain when you're an adult. We keep talking about being tired, you're mentally drained, you're physically drained, you have so much to do. Everyone's talking about health, this, and work out that, and you get your food in order, and be nice, and you can't say this at work, and you can't curse on your live stream because your parents are there. So many rules. There are just so many rules. And if you have even a little bit of like a principle system or code of conduct system or like hardcore values that you want to stick to all the time, every day, like I do, like we spoke about in the previous episode, you tend to also just tire yourself out. So at the end of the day, there are many people who just get too drained to invest in quality connection, but you have to do it. Friendships will not last if they're not built on quality connection, if they are not built on being open and emotional and vulnerable and honest. A lot of people just rely on like, oh, I'll catch up with them over a cup of coffee and that should be good enough. But it ends up happening like once or twice a year. And then they expect that that's kind of enough to hold an intimacy. Yes, friendships do have a level of intimacy. It's a very platonic intimacy. It is very enriching, actually. Like my closest friends are people that I don't think we even ask each other how are you or what's happening or anything like that. We just get straight down into conversation, the hardcore stuff. Like you won't believe what happened. Last week you were talking about this psychological distress, and this week it's like this for me. And there are so many things that you get to discuss with people when you open up to that level of vulnerability. And I feel like making effort for people who don't want to make effort for you, that's when friendships get draining for a person. If you get your energy back from a friend, that's not going to be draining at all. That's going to be very enriching. It's really going to refresh your mood. It's going to give you that energy back. You're not going to feel tired when you're talking to a good friend, somebody you're getting to know, someone you're getting to know in a nice way. And I think we really forget that regular input of effort is the foundation of friendship. It is the base of having and building and keeping meaningful friendships, at least. Sometimes there are people who kind of can't make it always to certain things, and we get used to just meeting that one group of friends, and because that one friend doesn't make it, we kind of hate on them. But I really feel like that's when it's most important to reach out to them and find out if something's going on with them or not. But on the other hand, I think this lack of effort or like this excuse of being drained or like being too busy to show up and stuff like that, that's also become cultural. And I feel like in a friendship, too much of that also should not be acceptable. Um, so the second point that I noted down was this emotional unavailability and this flaky culture. I feel like lots of people, because of how social media is just, made it okay to have your own time, and oh my god, self-care day, and it's okay to not be okay, blah blah blah. Everyone just uses those things as an excuse to not show up. It is fine if those are actual legitimate reasons, but using them as excuses to not be there for your friends or not be there for the people who are actively making an effort for you, it's not cool, man. Kind of feel shit. I feel like everyone has this thing where they claim, oh, I'm so bad at texting. I do it all the time. And it's not, I don't claim I'm bad at texting, but I take time to reply. Okay, I take time to reply. I miss messages. I get very deeply caught up with work. It takes a lot of my focus. And then I just don't allow anything else to distract me. But I really feel like most of the times that we're saying we're bad at texting, or we're not great at staying in touch, me included, it's often code for complete emotional unavailability. It's just avoidance. You don't have the emotional capacity or the mental capacity to be there, and you've really not made the effort to draw a boundary with that friend and tell them in advance, hey, listen, this is what my work life is like. I cannot be there for you all the time. These are the timings that I'm really, really busy. If I don't reply and it's urgent, please let me know and I will make myself available. But if I can't make myself available, I will tell you why. So at least the other person feels respected. But we don't do it. We don't do this kind of communication. We just use, I'm bad at this, or I'm bad at that, or it's just who I am as an excuse for ghosting people, not showing up emotionally, not showing up even just mentally, physically, and we think it's okay. Ghosting, making vague plans, not committing to plans, replying with absolute non-committal responses. I feel like somewhere deep down they're all signs of fear around intimacy, around accountability, around availability, instead of just straight up telling people, I'm so sorry, I can't be there, I don't have the capacity, I suck at XYZ, I don't want to do this, I don't believe in this, I don't want to spend time in this way, something else might be more meaningful for me. Can we change? Can we not do it on this day? Can we do it a week from now? And just fix it and just show up. We think it's okay to flake. We think it's okay because, somewhere we've also glorified just being low maintenance, or we have this facade or lie about being, oh yeah, don't worry, man. We don't meet for 6 months, but we're chill about it. No. You can't be chill about not showing up. And even if your friend is telling you they're chill about it, I don't know if they're so chill about you not being there for them when they need you. And maybe that's a conversation to be had. I like to have these conversations with my friends where I'm very open about the fact that they haven't been around. I don't judge them for it. I don't berate them for it. It's fine that they don't have that emotional capacity, but I don't let them off the hook either. And I really appreciate the friends who don't let me off the hook either. It means that they care. It means that they want to see me and they want to be around me. I spoke to somebody on the phone who told me something I have never heard in my entire life, and it was so sweet. He said, I'm going to come to Mumbai. I haven't seen you in a year. I haven't made effort for you. But you're just the kind of person who needs to be met. And I found it so cute. It was such a nice thing to say to someone. I haven't heard anybody saying you're the kind of person who needs to be met. Like, he made it sound like the whole world should come and meet me, and my social anxiety just went off the charts. Like, I really want to meet you. That is really sweet of you to say. I will 100% take time out for you. But please don't make it sound like the whole world needs to meet me. That's too much pressure. It makes me want to hide in my room and like go to sleep under my blanket for like 16 days. But it was really sweet, and I liked that he didn't make an effort, but he did turn around and admit that he didn't make an effort and that he will now. And hi, I see you, Abhishek, what's up? Thank you for joining. But yeah, I mean, my friends are there in chat. I think when I'm talking about friendships, I really should be saying hi to my friends. So hi. On the other hand, the 1 year that this person hasn't like been able to spend time with me or hasn't, spoken to me, and things like that, they were genuinely going through something, and they really took the time out to explain what they were going through. So while the emotional unavailability and flaky culture is not so cool, we need to stop like treating like being low maintenance as a flex. We need to really notice that level of detachment from another person, while flakiness and this non-committal behavior come from avoiding vulnerability, and using being busy as an excuse. It shouldn't overshadow if your friend is legitimately caught up or has been unwell for some time. If someone's going through like a hard burnout, like it takes time to come out of it. I took really long to come out of my burnout from work. I don't even know if I'm out of it. Like, there are no indicators for these things. There's no metric, there's no proper measure to understand if we're out of deep water or not. It's just you wake up and consistently for a month you feel good. So you think, okay, I'm done. But that anxiety might come up anytime, that depression might come back to you anytime. You can't plan for those things. You just have to take them as they come. So we also need to keep an open mind with other people and give them the benefit of the doubt. Sure, if you can see and you can tell what flaky behavior looks like and you can see that in a person, you should communicate, hey bro, not okay. But if this person is usually quite consistent with communicating, and suddenly they're being flaky and suddenly they're not showing up, then it's really, really important to ask if they're okay and like check in. We'll talk about that a little later towards the end of this. So I don't want to go deep into it. On the other hand, if you're that person, if you're becoming that flaky person because you're going through something legitimate or because you're just not interested in the friendship anymore, then those should all be communicated honestly. I feel like the more I tell my close friends, at least well in advance, what's going on with me, or that I have these quiet phases where I kind of want to be on my own, I don't want to talk to people, I don't want to do too many social things, I don't want to be around more than 3 or 4 people at a time. I go through a lot of these phases, but now my close friends understand. And there were a few times that I really made the effort to pull myself out of that, even though it drained me, to go be there for them. So they know that if I'm not showing up, that it is very legitimate. It is an actual thing that I'm going through, that I can't be there for them. And they understand my capacity for this now, and they don't feel disrespected by it or they don't feel that I have become uncaring. We've really now normalized this idea that friendships, relationships, speaking to our family, connecting with our family, all this should be effortless. And if it's not effortless, then the other person has a red flag, or the other person is not doing something right. And we play this whole blame game instead of just saying, you know what, maybe I need to put some more effort in, maybe I need to communicate, maybe I need to find out what's going on, maybe I need to figure out if something's wrong with them. But nothing good or nothing valuable will ever be effortless. That's just not the way things work. Relationships are work. Friendships are work. Being around your family, being on good terms with your family, it's work. It's effort that you have to put in. You're not going to fall in love with someone on the first date. You're not going to make a best friend the first time you see them. I mean, if you do, then that's great. That's amazing. That's like being 3 years old again or 6 years old again. But remember that those friendships also, we became best friends on a swing or in a garden or like in school because we had the same colored lunchbox. And I don't think as adults we make decisions that way. Although to be fair, I do get along really well with people who buy very colorful football shoes. I don't know what that is. I always buy like neons or blacks or whites. I don't like a lot of color on my football shoes, but I tend to get along damn well with people who have very, very colorful football shoes. So if you have very colorful football shoes, it's very likely that we'd be good friends. And I think that's my like 3-year-old, 6-year-old child still in me being okay with being friends with people like that. But yeah, the expectation that any friendship or any relationship is effortless is a huge delusion. It's massive misconception. It's a lot of denial. And it's really not how things work. You really have to put yourself out there. You really have to get out of your comfort zone for people. You really have to understand what their comfort zones are like. You really have to motivate them also to get out of their comfort zone sometimes. And I find the more I push my friends, even if we fight, but they see good results after that fight, we just become better friends. We just become closer. It becomes easier for them to trust me. It becomes easier for me to trust them. I know they put in the work. Even though we argued, even though we fought, they did make the effort of at least trying what I was suggesting to them, and the other way around. Now, a lot of like making that effort and a lot of doing the work and a lot of showing up for people sometimes is not reciprocated. We reach points in our lives, a lot of us reach points in our lives where we've had to let go of friendships, and now there's this huge gap. We have a lot less friends than we did in college. We don't have time to go meet new people the way that we did in college. We weren't forced to be around 3,000, 5,000 people all the time, or even 200, 300 people all the time, depending on where you're from, what city you're in. Or even if you're not in a city, right, you've got like, 3-4 people around you. It's difficult. It's difficult to make friends. Anyway, as you age, and then it gets more difficult because you're working and you're trying to be healthy and you're trying to play sport and you're trying to read more and you're trying to do a lot of research, or there's a pandemic that hits the entire planet and you're isolated for like 3 years, and it gets tough. But we are also in a time where things are a lot more accessible. Things are a lot easier. Communication is much easier, but also access to hobbies is easier. Access to your interests is much easier, at least than it was, say, 40, 50 years ago. Maybe, I don't know. I wasn't born then, so I could be wrong. But it really feels like things are very accessible and easy now. And I think what's happened is, as we've grown older, as we've grown into adults, we've gotten so tired of our work lives that we've given up a lot of our hobbies. For me, football's not really a hobby. I treat it like a priority. I treat gym like a priority, and I treat my work like a priority. It's all work for me. But I do feel like my actual hobbies, like writing, painting, going and playing other sports. Like, I used to play a lot of tennis. I haven't done that in a really, really long time. Used to play badminton. I haven't done that in a really, really long time. I haven't gone for like fun football games for a while because I've had a lot of training on lately. So it's been a little bit difficult also to stay in touch with my hobbies. But I've realized if my hobbies are not social hobbies, they're easy to do. But if they are social hobbies and I have stopped them, I have just stopped meeting new people. I've stopped making new friends. I've stopped connecting with new people, and I'm a very curious person. So while spending too much time with too many people drains the shit out of me, going and meeting new people and learning about new people and seeing things from perspectives that only new people can share, that really energizes me. And I like doing it in controlled settings. I like doing it around an activity. I like doing it where I'm also coming out of my comfort zone. There's some kind of challenge. There's some competitiveness, maybe, even if it's just with myself, or it's competing against somebody else, somebody new, someone I've never met before. It's always fun. Plus, I think, look at our past habits. Shared hobbies used to be how we made friends. Like, even in school and college, you don't realize it, but shared hobbies very, very much were how we connected with people who had the same interests and thought like us. So I think it's just how we as adults need to search for new connections, meaningful connections outside of work, outside of our families, outside of our core group of people. Without hobbies, I feel like we lose one of the easiest entry points to meet like-minded people. And I really feel like we don't realize that that is a loss. Instead, for us, we just look at like, oh, this activity. No, I have a fear of heights, so I can't do it. No, I've never done it before, so I can't do it. No, I have never done a sport ever in school, so I can't do it. No, you just haven't tried. And there will be people there who probably haven't done it either, and maybe you can meet someone who's never done it before and might be able to teach you how to do it in a really, really nice way. But we use that as an excuse to not go do these activities, and then we layer it with a whole bunch of other adult excuses like, oh, I would come but I'm too tired. Oh, I would come but it's too far. Oh, I would I would have come there, but I'm so busy. Instead, if you just go, if you've got any smartphone or smartwatch, just open your screen time and see how many hours of the day you've wasted just on social media. You told all your friends that you didn't want to take time to go all the way to their house or go meet them or take out time in the day or anything like that. But you sat on your phone and wasted those 12 hours in the week on it anyway, which you could have used doing something a little more meaningful, like making friends. I'm not saying you have to make friends, okay? Sometimes you can make friends on the phone as well. It's fine. I have friends like that. I also have some people I talk to that I only game with, um, who I love. Like, they're great people. But it's not right and it's not the same. When you have close friends who really need you in their lives and you would rather spend 12 hours a week on your phone instead of going and actually hanging out with them, that sucks. That really sucks. So I really feel like it's not actually that you're tired or you're overstimulated or you're too busy. You just genuinely don't want to make an effort. You genuinely do not want to make time. You don't want to make space. You don't want to be there for somebody else simply because you feel like no one's doing it for you, maybe, or simply because you feel like you've just given enough to the world and you don't want to make the effort to give more. I don't know. I don't know what the actual reason is. I genuinely only skip plans or don't show up if I actually have other commitments, or I'm genuinely unavailable for some personal reason. But I think we've really forgotten how to enjoy slow happiness, regular group activities, normal friendship things, right? Adults don't have the time. It's not that adults don't have the time, actually. Adults don't have the attention span for slow joy, for regular practice, for long-term results, for long-term investment, for long-term commitment. We just want things now. I want to be your friend now, and then I want to be your friend tomorrow and immediately, and you have to be there for me all the time. And if something goes wrong even once, I'm just not showing up. That's it. I'm done. And I think, like, digital connections, unless it translates into real life, it's difficult to turn them into meaningful connections. They'll always lack some amount of depth because there's no shared doing behind them. Now, this is a huge break from what I see in online communities, like actual communities, like streamer communities that a lot of live streamers, YouTubers, and Twitch streamers build. In there, because the streamer or the YouTuber is so open and honest and vulnerable about who they are, the entire chat is buzzing. They're so excited to talk to each other. They're so happy with sharing what's happened. They're happy about sharing the loss of something. They're happy about sharing, gaining something new, like a promotion or anything like that. They are just so open and honest because that's the vibe that's shared there. But even there, watching that stream, showing up regularly for the stream to speak to each other in chat, I feel like that is shared doing. I know there is one stream that I watch consistently, and I always look out for this one person in that stream, in the chat on that stream. And I always ask around for them because even if I don't catch them, someone else has. And they will legitimately know how they're doing, like health-wise. They will know how they're doing. But I don't want to skip off onto that tangent. Let's come back. Basically, in summary, no hobbies means there's no shared context between you and these other adults or any other adult. So no new friendships go beyond a certain superficial level. Those friendships or those relationships really just don't transcend beyond an app or whatever digital platform you're on, which sucks. And more often than not, I feel like it's somewhere close to what it is like with colleagues. It just stops somewhere, like that connection just stops somewhere. So when everyone's doing that, like working and doom scrolling and ignoring people, those friendships fade really, really fast, especially if they're not deep connections that you've made, which for all the above reasons, you haven't made those deep connections. So that's when it comes to like making new friends and making friends, like the act of making friends in general. But what about the friendships that we have? How do we preserve those? Is it that you're feeling like someone's behaving like this with you? Are they being really flaky? Are you doubting their commitment to you as a friend? I know it feels totally shit. I have been through it a lot of times. I'm usually the giver. I'm usually the person who's always available. I'm usually the person who's always there. I do now say no to things. I do now control how involved I am with people. But for my closest and nearest and dearest friends and family, I do this thing where it doesn't matter and I just always make myself available, and then I feel drained as fuck. And I feel shit. Because they don't have the capacity to reciprocate, and even if I don't expect them to reciprocate, it's just that imbalance feels unfair. So I've come to the conclusion that a large part of adult friendships involve drawing boundaries and honestly communicating capacity. I have been going through this absolute roller coaster. Sorry, I'm getting tired of talking now because it's been a while, so I'm going to try and wrap this up very quickly, but let me redo that sentence. Control Z. I've been going through an absolute roller coaster lately for a few years now, actually, with friendships, building friendships, and like losing friends as well. And wow, the kind of boundaries I have had to draw, I really never thought those specific friendships that I'm thinking of right now would actually need those boundaries, but they did. And it made me realize how important boundaries are. I feel like no one sets boundaries properly in friendships. We just, again, expect them to be effortless. Boundaries are not just for your romantic partner. They are not just for shitty family members or any family members, even if they're not shitty, sometimes you have to draw boundaries. And they're not just for horrible colleagues. They are critical in our friendships. Especially if you want to keep those friendships, if you want to keep them going well, and if you want to keep those friendships enrichingly platonic without over asking or leading somebody on or not giving enough or not asking enough. We tend to overshare too early sometimes, or we tend to just never express when we're hurt or when we're upset about something. We just like, yeah, it's fine, because otherwise you'll be the sensitive one, or oh my god, he complains so much. And we think it's, again, like it's totally cool. Like we lie about being chill because everyone's made it okay to just be chill. It's cool to be chill. Like it's not cool to not be cool. So we don't express our resentment. We don't express detachment. We don't express things that we don't like. And we just agree to things that the other person likes, thinking that that's how you build a friendship. It's really not. Telling people what you like and what you don't like is what builds depth. At least I think so. It's what has helped me build depth with new people that I have met. I think one of the most important things is also that it does not allow the other person to really get to know you. They'll never see the real you if you keep hiding things that you don't like or things that you don't agree with. People then tend to detach, ghost you instead of communicating their discomforts or needs as well, because they feel like you can't handle it. They feel like you don't want to talk about those things. And in adult life, it's kind of difficult to gauge where that's coming from. It's not easy to tell why somebody is backed off. They might think you're upset with something, but you won't admit it, and you keep lying to them, saying you're fine, or the other way around. you might just presume, oh my god, this person is upset with me, but I don't know what they've done, and I wish they would just communicate and tell me if it's something wrong. And it might cause a lot of friction. It might cause a lot of unnecessary doubt, unnecessary hurt, unnecessary miscommunication. On the other hand, there's also too close and too much. As we get older, yes, we get lonelier. We do get lonelier. We have fewer and fewer friends. So what happens is, with the few friends we have or the new people we meet, we tend to trauma dump. We either tend to trauma dump or we tend to platonically love bomb. Like, let me just keep complimenting this person, because then it'll kind of feel like I'm a nice person, so they will like me, so they will spend more time with me, and I will make a friend. You don't make friends through just that. You don't make friends through just trauma sharing. You don't make friends through just being nice to somebody or being happy all the time. It doesn't work that way. It seems unreal. You also don't make friends by texting all the time and then being really quiet, and then texting all the time and then being really quiet, or getting upset because somebody is just being really quiet sometimes, or not responding because they're busy and legitimately at work or in a meeting. And I think a lot of this conflict comes from not having clear boundaries and that clear communication with people beforehand. The unfortunate part is that I think a lot of you will have already known this or will have realized this. I'm just kind of going through another level of realizing this, but sometimes even if you do draw those boundaries and you do communicate and you are the good one, there is no guarantee that the person will respect this. So don't mistake what I'm saying for advice. It's really just that humans work a certain way, I feel. Having those clear boundaries and communicating and expressing clearly does help to a certain extent, but it deeply depends on if the other person is receptive to it or not. I've tried to have a lot of conversations with somebody about how I would like to draw boundaries between me and them. And I've communicated this over the last 2 years to them, 3 years to them, and they still just don't change their behavior. So I have unfortunately had to cut off from them almost completely, except maybe to be there for them. To be there for them in difficult situations. So express your limits, express the changes that go on in your life. I have cat hair in my mouth. Sometimes I really wish that I did not do this live, because then I could have edited this part out, but I can't even edit this part out. So please just enjoy the music while I get this cat hair out of my mouth. Sorry. It's done. I really love my cats. They are probably my bestest friends. But this is so frustrating. Even when I throw them out of the room to do a live session, they still end up somehow interrupting me with their cat purr. But sorry, to get back to what we were talking about, I have had to cut off from this person, and it's been really shit actually, because they were very important to me for a very long time, and it's just been very recently that I have realized how unfair and imbalanced the relationship kind of was. And now I've made this decision after trying really, really hard, expressing my limits, expressing what I'm going through, changes in my life, expressing my availability, how my availability changes. And you would hope that the awareness would be kind of enough, but it's really not sometimes with some people, which is okay. It still means that you need to get better than at making new friends and finding the right people for you. And I think more often than not, once people are aware of what you're going through, if you express it correctly and communicate it enough, it does allow good people to at least make their own decisions about how they want to operate from there. Like I said, I have a downer weeks, months, every year, like one solid downer phase. My close friends know about this, but a lot of my new friends don't. So if I find I'm in that phase, I always make sure now that I reach out and communicate and say, hey, emotionally I'm drained, like I'm not available, I can't talk right now, I can't talk for a few days. I will keep checking in with you, but I can only really text and message back, or bombard you with reels, but I am alive and I am fine and I'm here for you if you need me in an emergency. But I've started doing this with like new people, and some of them have been really wonderful, and they've taught me that there is a better way to look at things when I'm in that, feeling kind of shitty phase. And what I really like about that is it just gives, like I said, like it gives me a new perspective on how to look at things. It makes me really grateful to have new friends who I can talk to about these things now. If people shut down when I say these things to them, I just take it as, oh, okay, they don't understand this. They're not the kind of people who understand it. So that's fine, move on. Let's find someone who does understand it. Or let's reach out again to a person who did make me feel safe, who did make me feel like, yeah, we can be friends, who does understand what I'm going through. And is easy also for me to get along with while still kind of pulling me out and challenging me, taking me out of my comfort zone. So it makes me really grateful to have those new friends and, take a chance on people and be vulnerable with new people. Through a lot of this, I think the one conclusion I can really draw from it is that if you want to build a strong friendship, or you want to keep a close friend or keep that strong friendship that you have, it requires you to deeply respect time, respect energy, respect that emotional bandwidth, yours and theirs, and make sure that you openly communicate all three. And I usually leave things on a note where we can kind of, learn about these things together. But today I feel like I'm not going to do that. Today I want this to end in a conversation. I'm trying to relearn how to make friends. I'm trying to learn how to keep my friends, especially the real ones, the close ones. I'm slowly trying to make the effort to get back to hobbies where I know I'll be around people, maybe join micro communities, start my own community, if you're like me and you're trying to do this, I do have a community of sports people and gamers. It's called Ninja FC. You can search for it on Instagram. It's called, the handle is at NINJAFC_IN. Please show up. It would be great to have you as part of our community. There's a WhatsApp group as well, so if you'd like to be part of that WhatsApp group, I would be more than happy to add you. We play different sports every week. It's mainly football, but we also have games for pickleball, paddle. We go climbing sometimes. It's fun. It's great. It's just a way to stay connected with people. But it's a meaningful group. It's not a group where people just add themselves and disappear. So if you're not going to commit, if you're not going to show up, then please be aware, please communicate that clearly. I'm also working on checking in more often, both with my new friends, people in my community, as well as my close friends, people who I normally just assume will check in on me, but I think I should change that and check in on them as well. Especially when things are not falling apart. I really need to try and do that more. Instead of, falling apart and then while I'm coming out of it telling them, oh my god, I fell apart, but I was happy before and now I'm totally drained out, so now I have to tell you that I fell apart and I'm totally drained and I can't be there for you. I'm also trying to be a lot more upfront about my intentions, about my thinking, about my life, about my personality. It does feel awkward a lot of the time. It does make me anxious a lot of the time, but I think this is very much part of saying, hey, this is who I am. I want to get to know who you are and see if we get along. At the end of the day, I also think maybe there's no perfect person. I don't think anyone is perfect. It's nice to be able to find the right people or good people in connection to who you are. Just people who make me feel seen, feel safe, feel happy, feel like I'm having fun, feel brave enough to do certain things that I've never tried before. And I think for me that's a starting point. But yeah, those are just a few things that I'm experimenting with right now. I don't know if I'm doing it right. I don't know if this is the way to do it. I don't know if there are better ways to do it, but this is what I'm trying. If there is some stuff that you've discovered about friendships, about finding new people, please share it with me, drop it in a comment, put it in the chat, send me a text. And again, it's fine to be on a journey where things are new, where things are experimental, where things are uncertain, but I'm sure you'll find people to do it with. Oh, Radioactive has pink shoes. Yes, we can be friends then. Although I hate pink, man, I'm sorry. I don't hate your pink shoes. I haven't even seen them. But I hate pink as a color and I would not buy pink shoes. See, this is what I mean. We probably get along, but I would never buy bright colored shoes. But yeah, if you would like to join my Ninja FC community, drop the page a message on Instagram and then I will share the deets with you. And I think that's all for now. I really appreciate everyone who's come to watch, everyone who stayed till the end. I really hope that someday we will all be better at making friends. We'll all be better at showing up. We'll all be better at being honest. We'll all be better with our emotional bandwidth. We'll all be better with our attention spans. And a whole bunch of things that is involved in being friends with people. But yes, thank you again. And until next week, see you. Oh my god, where's my OBS? I moved things around and I have lost everything. And now that awkward moment after saying bye, then I'm still on the stream. But okay, bye.